Hello, Robert Golden, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and more
Yeah,
importantly, the University of Arizona Wildcats football team.
no
Bear
doubt.
down, Rob. What's going on?
Bear down, brother Rudy, man. It's always good to connect, man. All is well, and excited to be chopping it up with you, man, for the next hour or so.
It's always a pleasure speaking with you and following up and just figuring out what's going on. I know every day you have something new
Yep,
going on.
yep,
Just real before we go into what's going on now. Okay, I
yep.
want to kind of take a step back in your life and kind of talk about you grew up in Fresno, right?
Correct, correct. Yep.
How did you pick University of Arizona?
Man, you know what's interesting is when I was coming out of high school, man, I was the number one defensive back in the state of California. And at that time, my senior year, I started getting a bunch of scholarships. But Arizona found me, man, when I was a two-star athlete my sophomore year. And they knew that I was going to be a diamond in the rough. So they offered me my first scholarship in my sophomore year, and they stayed in touch with me, built a relationship with the coaching staff, and man, it felt like home when I went to Tucson. So that's how I ended up being a U of A Wildcat.
I mean, Tucson is a great place. I went to school there, spent a lot of
Yep,
time there.
yep,
So when you were in Tucson, okay, the football program is obviously a lot different than when like a regular college student goes there, right? So
yep,
you go to classes, right?
correct.
And but like when you're not in season, what are you doing on the off season?
Well, man, you got to remember, I went to U of A during the Rob Gronkowski days. So,
That was my next follow up was you played with Rob Gronkowski.
correct, man. And when I took a visit there, Rob Gronkowski was my host. So I spent a lot of time with Rob and his brother Chris during the times. But man, those guys, although they party hard, they worked hard as well too, man. So it was just good being around those guys, not only just going to school learning, but then being able to hit the gym, hit the training, hit the field with those guys, and as we prepare for the season. But we had a great run together, man, not only with Rob, but a lot of other guys that was able to go off and have NFL careers, man. We were the prime of Arizona football at that time, that's for sure.
Yeah, was it Nick Foles was there too, right?
Yeah, Nick Foles was my starting quarterback. In fact, Nick and I, we came in the same recruiting class. So had Nick Foles there, had a Trevin Wade there, Kreiner, Jerron Kreiner, and
Mhm.
many other guys that was able to go off and play on the next level. But it was a good group of guys, that's for sure.
So I went back for homecoming. You know, I told you
Uh-huh.
that
Yeah.
back in November, and this was November, right? So
Uh-huh.
it was incredibly hot. I was sitting right by the field. It was incredibly. How hot is it playing down there?
Man, I tell you what, before they got the turf, playing on that natural grass, it felt good. We used that to our advantage because we practiced in it every single day. But now that they got that turf out there, man, it's 120 degrees outside. It's at least 160 on the field. And that's one of the things that the coaches, even when I was playing there, used to heavily emphasize. You gotta hydrate, you gotta hydrate. But when you see teams come to U of A or come to Arizona in the months of August, September, October, man, those guys be cramping up. Those guys be dehydrated. So that is part of the home field advantage of being able to play in that heat in Arizona, man. But it was definitely tough to get used to, that's for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, it's ridiculously hot just sitting there. I was like, oh, and especially like you're playing in the sun,
Yeah,
and then the sun kind of fades on the right, but
yeah,
you're like in the sun. You got the helmet on, you got the gear on.
yeah.
It's gonna be like
Man, it's brutal,
ridiculous.
man. But I think this year U of A just announced that they are moving to the visitor sideline
Mhm.
instead of being in front of the Zona Zoo. So the Zona Zoo side, man, that's where the sun is just beaming at. So now they're going to put the
Yep.
opposing teams on that side, and the home team at least have the shade. But you got to remember too, Arizona is pretty much the number one place for NFL and for MLB players to go and train in the off seasons
That's right.
because of the heat. And if you're training out there and you get used to working in that dry heat, man, there's no other weather that you can't get out there and perform in, man. So it's an advantage if you can get used to the heat, that's for sure.
Yeah. So did you think when other teams came that you guys used it to an advantage? Kind of like when teams go to like Denver to play in Mile High.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. And that was one of the reasons that we wasn't even privileged to have a dome
Mhm.
back then because regardless, we were going to be outside working in the heat, man. But one of the cool things that the coaches used to do to kind of give us a break was, during training camp time, we used to travel up to Fort Huachuca, and we used to do our training camps up there in the mountains where it was a little bit cooler, but once you get down from Fort Huachuca and you start preparing for the season, man, we were out there in the heat in the prime of the day, really building that stamina. But we use it to our advantage the same way the Pittsburgh Steelers use the cold weather to their advantage, especially during playoff time. That's the home field advantage that teams usually try to create. It's how can we use the elements? How can we use our fans? How could we use the whole environment to create some type of home field advantage? So we definitely use that during our time for sure.
Right. And so now let's talk about leisure time in Tucson. I always ask
Yeah,
people, I mean, I threw a lot of the parties in Tucson
yeah,
at the bars and the clubs, and I always had
uh,
the football guys coming over. Now I had an incident once with the 1999 Arizona Wildcat football team, and
okay.
Dick told me kind of saved my ass. But
Chris
um,
McAllister days back then.
there was a lot of guys on that team.
Yeah,
But there's so much to do in
yes.
Tucson. Did you go out at night? Did you go to the bars?
Well, yeah, man. I mean, that's what Tucson is known for. It's a college town. So all of the college, not only athletes, but student body, man, we were always looking for something to do. And back in my time being at U of A, man, we used to throw the biggest pool parties up at Star Pass.
Oh
And
yes, Star Pass.
those were legendary. But absolutely, man. Spent a lot of time on Fourth Avenue, on Parkside over there as well. And downtown Tucson wasn't what it is right now, that's for
Mhm.
sure. But man, it used to be a lot of good times hanging out there. But one of the things that I had the privilege of having is again Rob Gronkowski, and his house was literally right down the street from the stadium. So we spent plenty of time after the games and on the weekends over at his house. And his place was the place to be. So, man, we had lots of cool parties. And the guy had a jacuzzi right in the middle of his front yard. So you can only imagine how wild those parties used to get. But it was a good time for sure.
So did you prefer going to the parties or going to like Fourth Ave?
Man, Fourth Ave was definitely a bonus anytime you were over there. But when Rob Gronkowski threw a party, you wanted to be at Rob Gronkowski house. So
Of course.
when he left, I'll tell you this, he left. He ended up entering the draft early, which was my junior year, and my senior year was super boring. Once Rob left, that's for sure. But it was good times hanging out in Tucson, man, especially on Fourth Ave, and then downtown before all of the
Yeah.
upgrades came for sure.
Have you seen Fourth Ave like recently?
Oh yeah, man. You talking about the new apartment complexes that they built over there. They upgraded the Jack in the Box right there on Fourth and Park, man. I mean, it's a whole new place there.
I
And
mean, Maloney's is gone.
Maloney's
O'Malley's is
is
still
gone.
there.
Yes.
Shandy's still there.
Right, right,
But
right.
there's a building. It's like it's crazy. And yeah,
It
downtown
is.
is. I mean, when I was there, downtown was still happening. It was just a little different. We had different
Uh,
places than when you got there. They were gone already. But
right.
now they have like it's like buildings. There's you know bars,
Yeah,
like
man, you can bar
nightclubs.
hop.
People bar
You,
hop. I mean, I don't know if
yeah.
it's very safe, but people are bar hopping down there.
Yeah.
Restaurants. Let's talk about Tucson restaurants. Did you have like
Yes.
a go-to spot besides Jack in the Box?
Well, I tell you what, man, there's a really popular burger spot, Lindsay on Fourth Ave.
Okay.
Man, oh my goodness. They used to have the guy from Man versus Food go on there and try to eat the burger challenge.
Mhm.
So that used to be one of my favorite shows. In fact, I wanted that job so bad, back when I was in college. So I used to try to do all of the things and try all of the restaurants that he tried. But Lindsay on Fourth Ave, that's one of my favorite burger spots. And then if you want some true, authentic Hispanic food, Minitos was another one of my favorites down in the South Side. And then you can't forget about BK, man. That's
Mhm.
right there on, I want to say it's on Glen Avenue, I believe it is. But BK, I'm not talking Burger King. I am talking the original BK that sells the Sonoran dogs,
Mhm.
bacon wrap, extra mayo on there. Those are some of my favorite spots. And those are my go-to spots whenever I head back to town, that's for sure.
I never went to BK.
BK, man,
Where is
they
it?
are famous. So it's right on, I want to say it's on Glen and Park Avenue. Heading down, is that Park Avenue? Yeah, I believe it's Glen and Park Avenue. Um, it's a famous spot, man. They do the
Oh wait,
best
I know where
Sonoran
it is.
dogs.
I know where it
Uh-huh.
is. I
You
know
know what
where
I'm
it is.
talking
I've
about?
never been there, but
Yes,
actually, we just passed it when I was back in Tucson with my daughter. We passed by, and
yes.
I was like, it said hot dogs on there, and I was like, oh,
Yes, man, it's the best. I'm talking about bacon wrap, mayo on there. They put all the toppings on there. If you want a Sonoran dog, you can't get it anywhere else better than BK, that's for sure.
next time I'm in Tucson, I'm definitely heading over there and grabbing it.
Man, get you two of them. Get two of them.
So okay, Tucson, you
Yep,
you're a senior. You left senior year, right?
yep, correct.
Okay,
I did.
You weren't drafted.
Undrafted,
Undrafted,
undrafted to
and how did
Pittsburgh.
it come about? Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Pittsburgh, they came to the pro day my junior year, which was leading up to it. And I had a conversation, really quick conversation with them at that time. But, throughout the draft process, man, I knew I was either going to Miami or the New Orleans Saints, because those were the two teams that I was in conversations with throughout the whole draft process. But as soon as the draft ended, I went undrafted, and I get a call from the general manager, Kevin Colbert, shortly after the draft, and he's like, "Man, Robert, we want to bring you in to compete for one of our backup spots. We got Ron Clark and Troy Polamalu here. They're going to be exiting pretty soon. You can be here for a long time if you come in and compete." And that was really the furthest in-depth conversation that I ever had with the Steelers. And I'm like, man, I'm not just trying to be a cap body. I'm really trying to come in and make the 53. And they were like, well, this is the place to be. And they ended up flying me out. I went to Pittsburgh. I tried out, made the rookie mini camp, then went to training camp and balled out and made the opening day 53-man roster, man. It was a uphill battle that I had to climb, but I was destined to be in the black and gold, that's for sure.
There you go. There you go. And so,
Yeah,
so you leave from 120-degree weather
yeah, yeah.
to negative 120.
Absolutely.
So what was that like? Because I mean, you came from California, you went to
Yeah,
Arizona, and now you're like in the snow. It's brick.
man. Yeah, it was definitely a culture shock, that's for sure. Just even being in a downtown high flying city, people know I come from California, but I come from Fresno, California. So very small town. And then obviously going to Tucson, very similar to Fresno, especially in the population numbers and the city, width, but then I get out to Pittsburgh and I'm in this big city and it's cold, but it's a blue collar working city. And it was a great opportunity, man. It was a great experience. I'll tell you what, the first day that I truly knew that I was on the East Coast in cold weather is when I woke up on Christmas Day in 2012. And I had my first snow white Christmas, man. So that was always magical. I mean, you grow up watching movies like Home Alone and you see Christmas had a bunch of snow when kids woke up in the morning. And just being in California and living in Arizona, I never had that privilege. But 2012, when I woke up for Christmas and it was snow white out there, man, it was like heaven.
I mean, between you and me, I'm in New York. I'm actually in New
Uh,
Jersey right now, but we've
uh,
had a bad winter. There was a lot of snow, a
is
lot.
that
And
right?
now I can't wait until it gets warm.
I hear
Think
you,
like
man.
starting. I mean, now it's like sunny out, but it's not
Uh,
warm. It's like maybe 50 degrees, which is kind of cold.
wow. Yeah, for
I mean, here
sure.
I saw a guy driving around in a convertible, so it's like it's
For
you know
sure.
it's weird, but yeah.
Yeah,
So the cold weather is like I don't know. I'm kind of sick of it. But so
yeah,
the black and gold, is that what you? So you're doing the school. Is
yeah,
that like the black and gold that you have there's insignia? Is that the
yeah.
color because Steelers?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you a quick interesting story, man. When I was in high school, our colors were black and gold as well, too, Edison High School, man.
Mm.
So our uniforms resembled the Steelers uniforms. And my mom, she had got a 21 customized jersey for the Pittsburgh Steelers and put golden on the back and wore that jersey every Friday while I was in high school, attending my high school games. And then, you fast forward 5 years later, man, I'm playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and she's still wearing that same 21 golden jersey that she had customized when I was in high school. So the black and gold ran in my veins before the Steelers, obviously, with where I grew up at and went to high school at. I grew up playing in the Edison Pop Warner leagues all the way until I got to high school. So I was wearing black and gold from when I first started playing ball until I finished my career. Arizona, they put the red, white, and blue in my spirit, which, definitely was needed to add the color schemes to it. And also just from the patriarchy level that I bring, to the environments of what I create. But black and gold was definitely destined for us to create the school colors out there. That's for sure.
Right, right. And happy birthday to your mom.
Yes, it's her birthday today, man. She's 65 today, and we're going to celebrate it well with her tonight.
Nice. What are you doing?
So got all my brothers and our children, all of her grandchildren. We're going over to her house. I got this big taco truck that is pulling up to the house, and I'm going to serve the whole family tacos. We're going to picking up her birthday cake later today, and going to hang out, play some cards. But can't stay out too late because we got to all wake up in the morning and go to our jobs, but it's gonna be a good time hanging out with her
It's good.
tonight, celebrating. Then we head to Cancun on Sunday. So she's spending spring break with me and my family out in Mexico, man. So it's gonna be a good time celebrating her, that's for sure.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, yeah,
So back to the Steelers real quick, and
yeah.
then I'm not going to really talk about football that much. But you were in this. You were what? 6 years in the league?
6 years with the Steelers, and then finished up with the Kansas City Chiefs in my seventh year.
Seventh year, right? And
Yeah,
then say that's it. I'm done with football right now. I
I'm
might come
done.
back to it. You never know, because maybe something will
Right,
pop up. But
right.
how did you? So like, how did you get this idea
Uh-huh.
for school? For a school?
Yeah. Man, what's interesting is throughout my time of playing in the NFL, I always came back to my hometown and I developed mentoring programs. I developed an anti-bullying program with Dick's Sporting Goods. I developed, these different camps to really help children understand that, sports was what they did, but it wasn't who they were as a human being. But I was always active in my community, active with children, and had a mentor that told me, man, when you're done playing in the NFL, you're going to open up your own school. And that kind of went in one ear and out the other because I was in the prime of my career in the NFL. But once I retired, man, I knew that I wanted to create something that was going to not only help people thrive, but help the planet thrive as well. And decided to create an environmental stewardship school that can help kids understand what's going on in their environment, but make them be civically engaged as well, to have this hands-on learning opportunity to make their communities better. So it started as a seed that was planted from a mentor of mine, just given the nature that I was always heavily active with children. And what started as a seed has grown into what it currently is right now.
So when you got the idea,
Uh-huh.
I mean, right now you're in the process of building a full-on school. But before
Correct.
that, you did like a mini school, right? Like a
Well,
smaller one.
yeah, we're currently operating right now, and we're in our fifth year. And what was crazy was when I was putting this school together, we were in the middle of COVID. So a lot of schools, man, were closing down, especially private schools and other charter schools. They were closing their doors because everybody wanted to go distant learning, and enrollment was, all over the place. So here I come. I step in on a scene in 2021, and I'm like, man, I want this campus. It was a former private Catholic school that had shut its doors in the middle of COVID and decided that they wasn't opening up anymore. And I'm like, I'll take this campus. And it was funny because they're like, man, schools aren't even open right now. Why would you want to take over this campus? I'm like, I have this idea to utilize this campus as a stationary place, but our kids are going to be outdoors. They're going to be learning about the environments, traveling to the mountains, learning at the river, learning at the zoo. So I really just needed a hub location, and ended up taking over the current facility that we're operating right now, which has been able to accommodate over 400 kids. And
Geez,
we're
400 kids.
yes,
That's
we're
a lot of
currently
kids.
operating. Yep. Well, we serve, transitional kinder through seventh grade right now. And once we move into our state-of-the-art facility in July, we'll be able to accommodate about 550 kids, man. So it started small and it's grown, and we're going to be able to add about 150 more kids to this new site once we move into it in July of this year.
So how many grades you got? K through 6, you said?
K through seventh right now. Next year we'll add K through eighth, and hopefully, if I continue to want to do this, I may take it to a high school. But as of right now, we serve transitional kinder, which is like a preschool, probably in New Jersey, but it's transitional kinder through eighth grade.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And how many classes per grade?
So we have two classes per grade level, from TK all the way to eighth grade. About 27 kids per class. But what's the unique model about our school is that we have a full-time educator and a full-time teacher aide or learning aide for our kids. So our ratios of the kids that we are able to serve in the classroom, they all have at least two adults. But then for some of our kids that may have special needs, special learning disabilities, we're able to push inside of those gen ed classes. So at any given time, there could be between 2 to 4 adults inside of a classroom of 24 to 27 kids on a daily basis. So it's been a really unique model that we've had, centered around place-based education, and where we really get to utilize a zoo every day as an extended learning laboratory for our classroom, man.
Mhm.
So it's been cool. A lot of kids have gravitated, a lot of families have gravitated towards the model, because it's new, it's innovative, and you're giving a kid an opportunity to not only learn um, from a textbook, but you're giving them the opportunity to actually put their hands in the dirt, and make a difference. So that's been a unique thing about us, man. We're going into our 6th year next year, and going to be moving into a $28 million state-of-the-art facility.
So the school is called the Golden Academy,
Golden Charter Academy,
Golden
yes.
Charter Academy. Okay, let's
Yep.
let's talk about the new school because I've
Yeah.
seen images.
Yes.
It looks pretty state of the art.
Oh, absolutely. I think when I was interviewing architects, I really wanted to go with an architect that was going to design a school that was timeless, but also design a school that when people drive by it, they say, "What's that?" And Arthur Dyson was the guy that I came up and ended up hiring. He studied under the great architect Frank Lloyd Wright, and was able to really learn a lot about being an organic architect from Frank Lloyd. And when I shared my vision with him about how I didn't just want a regular school, but I wanted something that was going to really be able to allow us to utilize outdoor learning spaces and also have this indoor outdoor component to it. He was able to take literally the vision out of my mind and draw it out, literally draw it out. And I knew exactly that that's what I was looking for. And he's literally brought a vision that I had in my mind to life. And I am forever grateful for Dyson's Architects that is here based out of Fresno, California.
It's definitely a unique looking building. I mean, can you
Yeah.
like so we're obviously we can't show it, but can you
Uh-huh.
describe it what it looks like so that people kind of know what I'm talking about? Because
E-
the only thing I could probably think it kind of looks like is Jimmy
uh-huh.
Goldstein's house in LA.
Yes, absolutely. So, in fact, Frank Lochner, who was the architect that designed the Goldstein residence, him and Arthur Dyson studied together on being organic architects. So, when we designed that building, our building, and then when John Lochner designed the Goldstein residence, one of the things that they said was that they didn't want was straight lines or corners. So every single, unique feature on our facility is that there are no straight lines. Like everything goes at an angle in the facility. All of our classrooms have this unique rectangular shape to it, but it also provides an outdoor learning space that has like this triangular shape to it. But the goal was to really design something that was timeless. And when you're looking at the building from the outside looking in, you will think that it's an indoor school. But when you actually walk inside of the campus, man, you're exposed to all of the natural elements. You have this really unique courtyard that is going to have a bunch of trees that are going to provide like this Zen garden feel inside of it. But our pathway to education is through environmental education, and we really wanted to incorporate the environment as much as possible inside of this facility. So it's definitely unique. We put a building like this inside of a community that hasn't seen a significant investment in over 60 years. So you can imagine, what this is doing not only for the economy in that area, but the sense of pride that the community members that live over there in that area have due to the Golden Charter Academy moving in that community. So we're excited to be moving over there come July of this year, that's for sure.
Have you since you've been building it, have you seen like other developments go like kind of like around the same area? There's like, hey, I see this building being built.
Right.
What is it? Oh, it's a school. Okay, well,
Yep.
I'm gonna start developing here, and like just more businesses are coming to the area because of the school being built.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's really unique is, again, we sit adjacent where I'm building my campus at. It's adjacent to the Fresno Chaffee Zoo. And our zoo here in Fresno is, a top 10 zoo in the US. It's accredited by the associations of zoos and aquariums. So here you have right adjacent to this state-of-the-art facility. Oh, you have a world-class zoo. And across the street from where we're building our school at, the zoo is building this really magnificent horticulture facility that is going to allow our kids to be able to garden with their horticulture team, plant their own fruits and vegetables. But that facility is going to be really unique and nice. They actually just broke ground on that this month and started grading and all of that. So that is scheduled to open up next year. But then, the city of Fresno, man, they're doing a lot of, infrastructure around there. We have this high speed, rail train that was supposed to be done 10 years ago. But hopefully that comes to fruition. But they built this overpass bridge that is less than a mile away from the school. They're closing the off ramp on the freeway exit to be able to create more of a pedestrian feel
Mhm.
in that area. So there's a lot of development that is happening that I didn't even know about until I started developing the school. And it was kind of just like the golden opportunity for us to be able to develop our site where we're building it at. But it's going to be a really transformational space once the school is open and all of the other improvements that is happening around it come to completion. That's for sure.
So like how initially when you were opening up, you didn't have 400 kids. Where'd the kids come from? How'd they hear about it?
Yeah, so interestingly, we started as a transitional kinder through third grade school, and every year we've been just adding a grade. So our kindergarten kids went to first grade kids went to second grade, and every year we just added a transitional kinder classroom. But when we first started, man, we started TK through third with like 180 kids. And we've added kids so much so that every single year we've had to do a public random lottery just to determine who gets inside of the school. So we've been doing this lottery based on families. The great thing about us is that we're a public school. So any zip code kid, no matter where they live at, could attend the school. And it's funny, man, we represent over 40% of the city of Fresno zip codes from where our student body has come from. But the crazy thing about all of this is that I never really did know strategic recruitment strategies to go and recruit kids. A lot of it just been word of mouth, man, and people seeing our kids out at the zoo, they see our kids at the river, they see our kids at Yosemite National Park, learning in the outdoor spaces and really putting their hands in the dirt to make a difference from an environmental standpoint. And when you see that and then you tack on our branding and you tack on the former NFL player opened up a school, that is how the word has been spreading. And we've been growing every year since we first opened in 2021.
So the kids wear a uniform,
They wear a uniform.
and
Yes,
the
they
uniform
do.
is the black and gold.
Their uniform is the black and gold, man. They got to wear the logo, black or khaki pants, and that's the uniform they wear daily.
So the parents who don't have the kids in the school see the
Uh,
kids and they're like, "Who are these sharp dressed kids? Where do they
yeah,
go?" They ask
yeah,
questions. And they're like, "Huh, I want
for
my kid to
sure.
go there," and that's how you grow.
And that's how we've grown, and I think too what's really unique about us is that we're an academy, so there's structure at our school, unlike your traditional public schools, man. We really try to not only teach responsibility and respect, but we've grounded everything in our golden rules, which is give respect, obligation, love, learning, dedication, elevate, and never quit. So those golden rules are our foundation on, truly being able to educate kids, man. You can't teach a bunch of kids to learn, man, if it's chaotic inside of a classroom space. So it's been really unique, man, to ground everything around golden. And that's been our motto: be golden, be excellent, be
Are
great
the
at what you
golden
do.
rules the golden rules, or are they the golden? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Is it a
Yeah.
play? Is it a play on your name?
Absolutely. It's a play on the brand, that's for sure. But every day, our kids recite the golden rules. We talk about what it means to truly be golden. And it is embedded in every single thing that we do, from our curriculum to our positive behavior reinforcements. Everything is really trying to position these kids to not only be great academically, but be great citizens of their community and from a global ambassador standpoint. So, uh, yeah, it's a play on the name, but it's also bigger than me, that's for sure. It's all about being golden, which simply means be excellent for sure.
I mean, it's a great name. Your
Yeah,
last name is a great name, and you could do so many things with it
absolutely.
to do that for the branding purposes. So
Absolutely.
the school is a public school, right?
Correct.
Where does the funding come from? Does it come from the state? Does it come from
Yep.
Fresno?
Yep. So we're a public school and we're funded the same way that your traditional public schools are funded around the country. You know, if you have butts and seats, then you collect ADA, which is pretty much your average daily attendance. But for the state of California, each kid is roughly between 12 to about 15,000 to fund their education. Unlike your traditional public schools, you know, many of the budgets that you operate under, they are funded, you know, through your public school system. So for Fresno Unified School District, who we are authorized by, they're the third biggest district in the state of California. So they operate on a $2.3 billion budget.
Mhm.
So all of their facilities are covered, all of their curriculum, food programs, all of that is covered under there versus when you're operating as an independent charter school like us, you know, our funding got to cover facilities, it got to cover staffing, food programs, etc. So if you can imagine to truly offer a world-class educational opportunity, lots of fundraising have to continue to be done, lots of grants have to be going after, and luckily for me, I've been able to leverage a lot of my contacts and relationships that I've built over the course of my life that have believed in my vision and has believed in the journey that I taken to be more than an athlete. And it's afforded me the opportunity to not only provide these kids with everything they need, but be able to build them a state-of-the-art facility as well too. So it's been a lot of relationships that I've established, a lot of networking, a lot of fundraising, a lot of brand recognition to really help us do this thing at a level of which we would like to do it at. But the work don't stop, man, to really be able to offer the world-class opportunity that we're looking to give the kids. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. You need money to make it happen. You
Absolutely.
you said ADA.
Yep.
What
Average daily attendance.
okay, so
Uh-huh.
I I want you to explain what
Uh-huh.
that is because there's a reason why I'm asking it.
Okay.
Explain what ADA is.
So it's unlike your facility spaces when you got to have ADA access for people to, you know, have wheelchair access and compliance spaces in between. But when we talking ADA in the education system, it's your average daily attendance. So for a kid, they may get $15,000 a year if they show up every single day. But if they only show up 80% of the time, then you get the average daily attendance portion of that kid. So what's supposed to be 15,000 if they have 100% you know, attendance may be 13,000, you know, if they're only showing up about 90% of the time. And it can dwindle all the way down depending on, you know, what attendance look like on a daily basis. But if you can imagine when your kids miss school and the front office is calling like, hey, we need that absent excuse. It's because they're calling because every time a kid miss a day, it disrupts the funding formula. But
Uh,
average
So
daily attendance.
so I knew there was something with it. I just didn't know what it was until
uh,
you just point out because every year my kids go to
uh,
public school and every year we have that first meeting with the school. Everybody goes to the auditorium. Now we go to a very small school. There's about
uh,
it averages between 10 to 20 kids per class. There's only one
okay.
class per grade. It's a public
Oh
school,
wow.
very
Uh-huh.
small. It's pre-K to 8th grade. And
Gotcha.
it's very small. It's kind of like a
Uh-huh.
private school, but not a private school.
Right.
But they always have this meeting with the parents in the auditorium,
Uh-huh.
and they cannot stress enough attendance. I mean,
Yes.
they probably mention it at least 30 times. Attendance, attendance, attendance. We need your kid
Absolutely.
here. They got to be on time.
Yep.
The butts in the seats. They have
Yep.
to be here. Now, for that to happen, like, do you have a set like 15 absences allowed per school, unexcused, or how does that work?
Yeah, you know, there's only so many guardrails that you can emphasize when you're a public school. But you know, we do highly encourage families to be in attendance on a daily basis. After they miss a certain amount of days or have a certain amount of truancies, then they get issued, a SARP, which is where, the student counselors and attendance people may end up doing a home visit to figure out why is the kid missing so many due. Is it, the kid can't wake up on time? That's when they start going through the SARP process to try to get a better understanding why the kid is missing so much. If attendance doesn't improve after the SART process, then the kid does run the risk of being dropped in enrollment.
Mhm.
And
Not
especially
allowed
when
to
you
back,
have a
dropped.
yeah, they will get dropped. But especially when you have a waiting list of kids that are looking to get inside the school, you want to be able to provide that educational opportunity. And if the kids are missing a lot of days, then that means they're missing out on a lot of learning. And if they're missing out on a lot of learning, they're messing with your test scores. And if they're messing with your test scores,
It's
they're
a whole
messing with
thing.
your funding.
Yeah,
So it's a whole
it's a whole
thing. And
thing.
I
Yeah,
can
'cause everything goes together. So like the school
absolutely.
gets more funding if the kids are there, the
Yep.
test scores are up,
Yep.
everybody's good, and then it shows up
Yep.
in rankings, and then you get more money that way. It's a whole
Absolutely.
system.
It's
So
a
like
whole system.
so the whole ADA thing, like over here. So I told you we had snow, a lot of snow.
Uh-huh.
They have snow days already built in. But
Uh-huh.
because I guess there was late openings or something, they added another day to our school
Oh,
schedule.
wow.
But
Yeah.
the problem is they just notified us, I think, like 2 weeks ago. But
Uh-huh.
everybody is already like going to camp or
Right.
already have trips lined up. So
Right.
I think that's gonna whole screw with their whole idea because
Man,
no
I
one's
for
gonna be in
sure.
school
Well, I'll
on
tell
that
you what,
day.
when it's a small school like what you just mentioned, 10 to 20 kids per classroom, one classroom per grade level, man, I can imagine every kid counts for them to be able to meet their budgets and pay and their staff, etc. But crazy thing is we ended up having to add 2 days to our calendars
You didn't have
this
snow?
year. We didn't have snow, but we had a lot of different activities because we start school before your other public school
Mhm.
start school at. And we have to be done by the end of May. So we're on a 10-month calendar, and most of your public schools are on an 11-month calendar. So
So
because we
when do
started
you
later,
start?
uh,
When
yeah,
do you
we
start?
usually start at the beginning of August and
Okay.
we're done by the end of May. Most public schools, they start in the middle of August, and they don't finish until the end of June,
Mhm.
here in California. So we ended up adding 2 more days, on our calendar where we were able to, add a day from our winter break, and then we added a day before, after we returned from spring break. So I know our families wasn't too happy about that as well, but man, we're trying to balance budgets out here.
Yeah, I hear you. I
Yeah,
completely understand. I mean, now I get
yeah,
this ADA thing. Like I didn't.
yeah,
I knew there was something monetarily. I just couldn't figure. I thought
yeah,
maybe there was like a teacher bonus. Maybe there was something else. I wasn't really sure because there was so much emphasis every
yeah,
year. Got to be in school.
yeah,
Got to be in school. And
yeah,
God forbid you miss something. Oh, they call you. They write you an email. They send you
yeah.
a letter. I mean, my kids haven't missed that much, but
Uh, uh,
still, they
it's a real thing, man. And growing up, I remember when I was either late for school or we missed school, the attendance person used to always call, leave a voicemail or so. They want that excuse absent, and I didn't understand why that was so important back then, but I definitely get it now for sure.
So if you haven't like a doctor's note, is that doesn't
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, it excuses the absent for the kid, but you still get impacted on ADA,
Oh, you still get
so
impact on ADA.
you
That's
still get
okay.
impacted, so the only way that your ADA stays in, you can receive funding for it is if a kid is going to be gone for like 3 or 4 days, and then you put them on an independent study
Mhm.
where you can send work home with them, and if they come back, they turn their work in, then you can recover those days that they were out. But it has to be more than 3 days. It has to be notified to the school at ahead of time. So it's a whole process when it goes to compliance and recouping that ADA. But man, it's necessary to keep the doors open.
Yeah, it's not so. Okay, you have two boys now.
Three boys,
Three.
man. Three
Wait,
boys. Yep.
wait. When the third one come out?
I got the 9, the 6, and the 3-year old now,
Oh Lord.
man. But my 3-year old, he's the baby boy, but he acts like the big brother. So it's funny just kind of seeing his personality and seeing him kind of overtake the house. But three boys, man, they keep us busy.
So wait, 963.
9, 6, and 3.
Nine
Yeah.
six three. So the 9-year-old is in your school,
The 9-year-old and the 6-year-old is
and the
at my
6-year-old. The
school.
6-year-old is
Yeah.
what, kindergarten?
Kindergarten. Yeah.
Kindergarten. And nine is
Yeah.
what, third grade?
Third grade.
Third
Correct.
grade. And
Yeah.
so they're in the school.
Uh-huh.
Do they like the school? Not just because you're the dad, but do they
Right.
like the school?
Man, what's really cool is my 9-year-old, he started at the school when we first opened in 2021 and transitional kindergarten. And every year he's grown through the program and now he's in third grade. But what's really pleasing for me as a dad is to know that I'm trying to raise up a bunch of environmental stewards, people that care about the earth, that care about their neighborhoods, that care about our land that we're stewarding and going to be passing off to the next generation. So to see my 9-year-old, heavily emphasize that we must recycle, we must, conserve Earth's natural resources. He wants to have his own composting in the backyard. He's gardening. Like these are the tools that I was hoping the kids gravitate towards and fully take on and start to run with themselves. And to see my son being very environmentally cautious and correcting the adults in his life, to make sure that we're not leaving no trace and that we're making a great impact on our environment. That's the benefit, man. And I tell you what, every week or two, our kids get to have a special trip. They go to the zoo every day. A grade level go to the zoo every day and use the zoo as their classroom. But then they have this really unique experience where they'll go to the Yosemite National Park or the Kings Canyon National Parks. And like those experiences is what really changes a lot of these kids' lives. And my son, long story short, man, obviously he's been blessed all of his life and he's had an opportunity to have a lot of things that a lot of kids that attend the school don't get to have. But even the experiences that he's having at this school has been life changing for him. So he loves it. They wake me up every day to make sure that they're on time for school. So I tell you what, if they continue to enjoy it the way that they are, I feel like I'm doing a great job. That's for sure.
So when he, like, on the weekend, is he
Uh,
the kids at home with you gardening, or like what are they doing at home?
Well, my son, my 9-year-old, he's a real boy, man. This is no doubt about that. He's going to follow after my footsteps and be a star when it comes to, his football and athletic ability. I'm not saying this because I'm his dad, but I'm obviously biased, but he's one of the best little 8, 9-year olds that I've seen playing on the football field this year. But with their mom, man, they have a huge garden in my backyard that they've grown and planted their own strawberries, their own cucumbers. So they get to do all of those type of things. But what's really unique about him is that he loves football,
Mhm.
but he also loves being outdoors. So, he wants to go on the hikes on the weekends. He wants to go sit out by the river near San Joaquin. He wants to do all of the outdoor nature hiking adventures that I didn't get into until I got into the NFL. So the fact that he has a day pack that he's ready to carry out into the mountains, and the fact that he loves going camping with me and being out in the mountains, and he's doing it unafraid at 9 years old. Man, those are the type of things that I, as a dad, want for my kid to be able to experience the world and embrace the environment and be out in nature and be one with it and love it. And care for it. And the fact that he has that empathy for it right now, um, that's what excites me about the program for sure.
It definitely teaches them a sense of responsibility that you have to be good to the environment, and the
Yep,
environment will be good to you. So that's definitely something, because you see a lot of
absolutely.
these kids, and like, like I'll go down. We
Uh-huh.
have like a center down here, like, down the street, and like, there's a
Uh-huh.
Whole Foods over there. There's a pizza place, and you'll see
Uh-huh.
like a kid will be like throw something on the ground. You're like, why
Yeah,
are you throwing that on the ground? There's a garbage right there. Put it in the
exactly.
back. Why are you doing that? Like,
Exactly.
have some respect.
For sure, man. And that's the whole deal. When I think about why, we took the environmental aspect of it was, like I mentioned, where we're building this school at, that community hasn't seen a significant investment in over 50 plus years. So when I was growing up in this small town of Fresno, the way that neighborhood looked at back then is the same way that it looks right now.
Mhm.
So in order for change to truly happen, we got to be the change. We got to go inside of those communities, plant the garden beds, plant the community gardens, do the community cleanups, put a lot of the love and infrastructure and the time inside of these communities that's needed. And these kids are growing up in those neighborhoods, and if they want better for their community, they're going to have to learn how to love it and nurture it and care for it, and then grow off and do great things and come back and be civically engaged to make it better, similar to my path and what I've been able to do. So the whole goal is for these kids to love the environment, but then go off and do great things and come back and help make it become a better place for the next generation.
Have you taken your kids back to Tucson to look at the
Oh
Cacti,
yeah.
Sonora Desert?
Oh yeah, man. I think it was 2 seasons ago. I was the honorary captain for the game at home, and so the family got to go out there with me, and they see dad name and jersey up on the football walls in there. So
Did you
it
did
was
you
a unique
bang the gong?
experience. Was that?
Did you get bang the gong?
No. So when I went there, I don't think they were doing that at that time, but I was able to do the catwalk with the team. So I met them down there on the mall. We walked down in the parade, got to run the team out on the field, and then obviously I was there at the coin toss. So it was a really cool experience, man. The kids and my wife got to see dad back on his old stomping grounds, man. So
So
pretty
when I
cool.
was there for
Uh-huh.
homecoming,
Uh-huh.
I'm sitting there, right? And like, I know I probably didn't text you to let you know that I was going out there. I didn't text
Uh-huh.
anybody, but I'm sitting there, and
Uh-huh.
and you, where you're sitting, probably the best seats, but the worst seats. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
you can't
Yeah.
really see what's going on the field. You got to look on the screen, and I
Gotcha.
see Antoine Cason,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's the guest honoree for. So I'm texting him,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, Antoine, is that you?
Yeah.
Zero. Ghosted me.
Uh-huh.
Nothing. And I probably spoke to him like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And the year before, I'm like, hey, I think I'm gonna go out to homecoming. He's like, oh, if you go to homecoming, I'm gonna go to homecoming.
Yeah.
But this year, I didn't tell anybody, hey, I'm going to homecoming, because
Right.
I wasn't like really thinking of it. Like, I'm like, okay. But it happened to be him, and I was like, dude, the guy ghosted me.
Yeah. No, I remember when he was the honorary captain for homecoming, man. But it's funny, I was just texting Twan this morning, man. We were texting, he had some ducks in his pool. And he was shooting some messages to all of the old Oregon players, and he like, get these ducks out my pool the same way we got the ducks out of Tucson in 2007. So we were laughing about that in a group chat, man. But Antoine Casey, man, he's one of the main reasons why I went to Arizona as well. Jim Thorpe Award winner, man. Shout out to that guy. He's one of the best for sure.
But he wasn't there when you were there. You kind of like took his position,
Yeah,
right?
yep. So when he was going out into the NFL, I was coming in.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a
He's
great
a,
guy, man.
he's
Great
a good guy.
dude. Yeah,
I'm gonna text him again and be like, maybe he changed his number. I don't know. Maybe he changed his number.
probably so. I think it's still the same one. I'll
When
shoot it
we're
over
when
to
we're
you.
when we're finished,
Yeah.
I'm gonna if it is, then I'm gonna be like, yo, what the
Then you got to send him another text like, "How you
exactly
ghost me?"
because he did message me a couple weeks ago. He did, but not
Gotcha.
on Instagram,
Gotcha.
not on text on Instagram. But
Gotcha.
it's
Yeah.
it's funny. But
No,
so
that's a
yeah,
good
because like
dude.
sometimes like I'll once in a blue moon, like I'll hit you up and like
Yeah.
out of nowhere, be like, hey, what's going on? We have
Right.
a lot of mutual friends,
Right.
so everything is good and all good. But
Okay.
so okay, so you got the kids, you
Yeah.
got the school.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, and
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this. There's
Sure.
different now concepts for different types of schools, and
Yeah.
because I feel like there's a shortage of schools.
Uh-huh.
There's now all these different concepts. Today, when I was driving into work, I was
Uh-huh.
listening to CNBC, and I'm blanking on the name, but there's now an AI school,
Oh,
and
wow.
there's like 50 of them across the country, and they're opening up more
Wow.
and more and more. And apparently, the way it works is it's it's teachers, but it's
Uh-huh.
also an AI teacher that's
Uh-huh.
teaching, and they're spending about 3 hours, I think she said, being taught, and the rest
Uh-huh.
of the time, same thing that you have, they're out and doing stuff in the environment.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
forgot the name of the school, but there's all these different types of schools that are popping up, whether it be AI or the environmental
Yeah.
or directly sports.
Yeah.
Some kids
Yeah.
just want to go to sports, and they're doing sports, learning for 3 hours, sports the rest.
Yeah.
So what do you think about all these different schools popping up?
Man, I tell you, it's a cool concept because at the end of the day, we're trying to prepare these kids to be college and career ready. And when you have a lot of different avenues, it's going to give the kids the opportunity to truly understand what they want to do at a younger age. That will ultimately help set them up to be successful. I mean, when we think about it, every kid isn't going to a 4-year university.
Mhm.
But when they get out of high school, if the education system has prepared them to be career ready, then we've done our job to help set them up for success. But when you think about the cookie cutter model that education has been for a long period of time, man, something had to evolve. You look at a 1950s Mercedes Benz and you look at a 2026 Mercedes Benz, they look completely different. But when you look at education in 1950 and you look at it in the 21st century, it still looks the same. So we've been trying to figure out specifically over at Golden Charter Academy, it's like, how do we continue to evolve education the same way that technology, the same way that the internet, AI, all of these things are continuing to evolve. How do you evolve education? And I think that's where we've kind of, sunk our teeth into this environmental stewardship component of it. Because at the end of the day, you can create all the robots and things of that nature that you want, but you need people to be able to put their hands in the dirt and turn the dirt. And you need people to be able to care for their environment. And you need developers to come back and want to invest inside of communities that have been marginalized and under-resourced. And those are the type of people that we're trying to steward and raise up in this program, so that they can go out and really make an impact and a difference in their communities. But your traditional public school isn't going to offer you that. You're going to get a textbook. You're going to be tethered to a four-wall classroom all day. And I'm a great motivational speaker, I think, but kids don't want to sit in a classroom and hear me lecture for 50 to 60 minutes, or anybody lecture for 50 or 60 minutes, man. They want to be interactive. And I think that's what we have been able to create over at Golden Academy. And if more schools are gearing towards that versus doing the cookie cutter model, then yeah, man, I say go for it. It's definitely needed for sure.
I feel like kids these days, because they're so stimulated by you
Uh-huh.
know iPads or
Yep.
computers or
Yep.
something, that it's more like hands-on approach. Like
Yep.
the hands in the dirt, or that
Yep,
maybe learning about AI or learning
yep,
about computers, or sometimes I see what my kids are learning in school and I'm
uh-huh,
like, This, you don't need this. Like it doesn't make
yeah,
sense. Like
yeah,
why are they teaching you this? Even the math, like I'm like, what? This math does not
yeah,
make sense to me. Like
for sure.
it's 2 + 2 = 4, not how do you get from these
Yeah,
two apples and then it doesn't make sense. But
yeah,
yeah,
it's a lot, man. It's a, you know, and that's one of the things that we try to do. You know, we're taking, you know, that math equation. And if you need to learn your fractions, why do you need to learn them? Because you may be developing some type of garden where you need 1/4 tomatoes over here and
yeah,
1/3 of apple trees over here. But it's really trying to figure out and take those equations and teach kids how do you really apply this math that you're learning
mhm,
inside of your everyday life. And that's where I feel education needs to continue to evolve. Because if it don't, then kids are going to be learning all of this algebra and stuff and not know why do they need to learn this stuff, you know, at such a young age, especially if they don't plan on using it throughout their life. But practical learning is what we're trying to give for sure.
practical learning. That's
Yep,
what it is.
absolutely.
Speaking about practical learning,
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
you're going to Cancun.
yeah.
What's your favorite spot? What's
Man,
your like?
man, you know, it's funny. My wife and I was having this conversation the other day about, you know, some of our favorite travel spots. But I tell you what, man, I went to Jade Mountain in St. Lucia,
Mhm.
and I can live there. You know, I have every every desire one day to retire, especially if I can live at the top of Jade Mountain in St. Lucia. But such a beautiful, calming, peaceful place. That is probably one of my favorite destinations to travel when I just want to unplug. But when I need a vacation and my wife and I just want to get away for a while, man, I can never go wrong with a Cabo trip, man. So Cabo is my go-to, but St. Lucia is my safe haven to travel to, if you will. That's for sure.
So you okay, Cancun, you said you're taking the kids to Cancun, but when you
Yeah.
go to Cabo or St. Lucia, is it just you and the wife, or are you taking the kids with you?
Yeah, man. Cabo trips is usually just me and my wife. It's funny, the last 6 years we've gone to Cabo every Valentine's Day. We spent our Valentine's out in Cabo. So it's usually just me and my wife. This for spring break, we're actually taking the kids to the Nickelodeon Resort down in Cancun. They're big on playing with the slime and getting
Mhm.
slimed. So we have a whole experience set up for them for 5 days out there. But it's going to be a good time getting them over there to hang out and see some of their favorite characters that they've grown up watching. That's for sure.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that they had that down there. Wait, in
Oh yeah.
Cabo, is
Uh,
Edith still there? Do you go to Edith's?
I haven't been to Edith's. Usually Cabo is opening up a new resort
Mhm.
every year. So my wife
Just
and
stay
I
on the resort.
we try to stay on the new resort that just opened. So this past year we stayed at the new resort Salas and it was amazing. But every year we try to stay on the resort and try a different newer resort out when we travel there for sure.
Because when I used to go there when I was a young man,
Okay.
like I was going there like
Uh,
it was still a dirt road, and I want to say
yeah.
how old when I was going there, but
Yeah.
there were resorts. Like One and
Uh-huh.
Only was still there. There was like
Uh-huh.
still like resorts, but a lot of people went to places to eat, like Edith. There was another place called Trailer Park.
Uh-huh.
Then there was in town like the bar Squid Row. I'm sure it's still
Yeah.
there. And then
Yeah.
there was a guy from California opened up a sushi place called Nixon.
Nixon. I've heard of that one. I've heard of
I
that
think
one.
it's still probably
It's probably still
has to be
there.
there. But I'm getting a glare right now because the sun is going down. Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
I
I
just
see
noticed
it.
it.
Your
I just
halo
noticed it.
coming through.
Yeah. So yeah, but so like it's interesting. But yeah, since then there's been like all these resorts and like a huge development in Cabo, but I used to like
Yeah.
Cabo. Now for you, it's like what, an hour and a half flight?
Yeah, about 2.5 hours. Two and a
Yeah,
half
for me, it's
hours.
like it's a mission because
Yeah.
I think it's like 5.5, 6 hour flight
And
to
I'm
get
sure
down
it's
there.
no directs either,
There
right?
used to be. I don't know if there is
Uh,
anymore. I wonder if there is. There
gotcha.
used to be. It used to be.
Gotcha.
There used to be an airline called Continental,
Uh-huh. Oh, yep. I remember
and then
that.
yeah, and then United ended up buying them out, and then when that
Yeah.
happened, they stopped doing direct flights. There's actually no direct flight to Tucson anymore.
Is that right?
It used
Well,
to be
Tucson,
Continental.
yeah, Tucson, man, whenever I go to Tucson, I always just fly into Phoenix and rent a car and drive down, man. So
So you do
rarely
that.
do
You
I
do the
ever
2 hour
fly into
drive.
Tucson. I do the 2 hour drive. Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking about that last time, but we took
Uh,
the flight. We took that little flight. It was like 20-minute flight,
Yep, yep. I
which
mean,
was
shoot, by the time you check in and drive to Tucson and then gotta fly to Phoenix to fly to wherever you're going, I'm like, man, I'd rather just do the little hour and 30 minute scenic drive. Sometimes I'll stop somewhere in Phoenix and hang out there. There's a really cool taco spot right there in downtown Phoenix that I gotta go to. Taco Cello whenever I'm in Phoenix. So I usually try to make some pit stops before I make the drive to Tucson, but it's always better for me to just land in Phoenix, rent a car, drive up. It's pretty simple for sure.
you ever stop by the farm? What are those
The
birds called?
ostrich
The
farm.
ostrich farm. Do you ever get the eggs there?
You know what? I am terrified of ostrich. Like that is my one bird that I do not want to come close to. But
They
whenever
spit.
we making a drive, yeah, they spit and then if they stump you out, man, it could kill you if you
Oh yeah.
get caught on the ground. But yeah, my wife, she's always asked me to stop when we be driving down, but I always tell her next time. So next time we might do it.
So I got a funny story. So do you
Uh,
remember Brian Williams, Bison Dele?
Brian Williams, I do not.
So Brian Williams,
Uh-huh.
Bison. Then he changed his name to Bison Dele. He played
Uh-huh.
for the Chicago Bulls. He played
Okay.
for the Detroit Pistons, and I forgot what he met. His brother ended up killing him. I don't know if you heard that
Oh
story. It
wow.
was a whole thing.
Not sure.
So
Yep.
he was a little bit older than me, but during the NBA lockout, he spent time training in Tucson.
Uh-huh.
So, I would be, I was a kid. I was in college, and he
Right.
would always bang on my door. Rudy, wake up! It's time to go work out. We never
Yeah.
went to work out. We just sat on the couch watching TV.
Yeah.
But he used to come to my place, and he would bring the ostrich egg like this big,
Uh-huh.
and he would make the omelet in my apartment. He'd be like,
Uh-huh.
they tasted so good,
Is that right?
and they were huge, and he'd pump out like a lot of omelets, and they were
Yeah.
great. And so, like, I always tell people, I'm like, if you ever
Uh-huh.
are driving from Tucson to Phoenix, stop by and get an
Get
egg.
the ostrich,
Get an egg.
man. Man, now I'm gonna have to try it now. I wasn't looking forward to going over there, but since
Yeah,
you
I mean,
said that, man,
unless
I'm
you're
gonna have to
cooking the
try.
egg, I don't know how that works because, like, if
Yeah.
you're flying back, I don't know. Do they let you
Right.
on the plane? It's considered
Yeah,
I don't know.
that
Is that a
is true.
liquid?
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I definitely wouldn't check it in my bag because then it might
Because then
crack
it'll
in
crack.
there. So
I wonder if they
might have
ship
to,
it.
yeah, right. I'm gonna have to look
Yeah,
into that,
I
man. Well,
wonder if
I'm
they ship
here in the agricultural county right now, man, where we feed the world. So I gotta imagine that there gotta be some ostrich eggs in the Central Valley of Fresno. You're
find
gonna have
yourself
me looking
find
up
yourself
that
an
now.
ostrich, check out the egg,
Yeah.
send me a picture, let me know what you
Oh, no
think about
doubt.
the egg.
No doubt. I
Yeah.
definitely will.
All right, real quick. I know we're coming close on time here.
Uh,
So I want to talk to you about how you were done Steelers, you went to Kansas
yep.
City.
Yep.
So you decided, okay, I want to go back to Fresno, or did you have a place in Fresno? Like, what happened there?
Yeah, man. So what's crazy is, I ended up once I signed my second deal with the Steelers, I ended up buying a place in Scottsdale, Arizona. So I was living in Scottsdale. That's where I trained at in the off season. My second son was born in the Scottsdale, hospital out there. Um, but when I got to Kansas City, I remember I was playing in football heaven. Pittsburgh is football heaven, man. You play for the Rooney family, you play under Mike Tomlin. Once you go anywhere else, man, it's a job, in Pittsburgh, it's all about football, it's all about winning. When you go to other organizations, man, it's about, it's a business. You got to show up at a certain time. You got to have your shirt tucked in when you're on the second floor. I mean, it's a whole business operation. I had got so accustomed to the Rooney way and the Steelers way that it took a lot for me to adjust to what the Kansas City way and formula for winning. It took a while for me to adapt to that, but even before I got to Kansas City, my last year or my last 2 years in Pittsburgh, I was really questioning whether I wanted to continue to play. I lost my dad in 2016. So when I lost him, I kind of felt like I didn't need to play ball anymore because my whole goal and ambition was to, make my dad happy and make my dad proud. And once he left, I kind of felt like I didn't have anything to play for anymore. So I was dealing with that for the last 2 years that I was in Pittsburgh. And then I got to Kansas City and I was just kind of like, man, football is starting to feel like a job for me. I wasn't having fun with it. So I ended up asking them to release me from my contract. And they ended up doing so, a month later. Um, After I just continue asking them for it. So they ended up releasing me from my contract. I went home. I was in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life after that, man. And that's when my mentor kind of reached out to me and was like, start developing your school. This is 2019. So 2020, I started putting the school together. COVID hit. And I was flying back and forth. And then I decided that once I finalized my partnership with the Fresno Chaffee Zoo to do this zoo school, that's when I knew it was time for me to get closer to home to really be able to make this vision come alive. So 2021, my family and I moved back. We opened the school in August of 2021. And man, we've been running with this vision ever since, making this whole thing come alive and making it bigger each year that we get an opportunity to serve the community.
So what's next for Robbie Golden? What's next? Like
Yeah,
you're doing the school. What's
yeah,
next? Is it another school? I know we talked about you want to do some public speaking.
for sure.
What's next on your agenda?
Man, I really want to be able to, help other people thrive, not only as a human being, but thrive in their community impact. So whether that's me being an inspirational speaker and providing people inspiration on how they could make a difference in their life or motivate them to be better, that is something that is definitely up my alley. Developing schools, obviously, I've created a blueprint here, and the big term goal and the big term vision is to open up a location at every single zoo that wants to have a zoo school. So that's part of the horizon. But I also want to have, athletes be able to transition from the game. Too often we are seeing players, either fall into these deep depressions or take their own lives, man, just because they don't have a sense of identity after they complete, their careers in sports. So I want to be able to help athletes make an impact on people in the planet. But at the end of the day, man, my life is an inspirational vessel, and I want to be able to just utilize my visionary expertise to help other people make an impact on people and the planet. So it's a lot that's next for me. But I definitely see myself continuing to make an impact on people and the planet. That's for sure.
So the school's opening up in June, right?
Yes, it'll be
And the
completed
year
in June,
and the semester is going to start in August.
in August. That's
Right.
correct.
Well, let's touch base after the school opens.
Yep,
Maybe you could show some pictures for us. I'll put it up. Um,
absolutely.
and we'll talk then, regroup.
Yep,
And I want to thank you very much. You're my
yep.
second guest.
Awesome,
So
awesome, man.
it was great having a former Wildcat
Yep,
on,
yep.
and you got to stay golden.
Gotta stay golden, man. That's the only way to be. Rudy, it was a pleasure connecting with you, brother. And I look forward to showing you the finished product. But I can't just show you photos. You got to make a trip to
I
California
know
and
I
come
got to
visit
come
us.
out. Well,
Come
maybe.
visit
Well,
us.
June is tough. Too tough is, but maybe
July 15th is my ribbon cutting ceremony. Put
July.
that one on your
July 15th. If I'm
July
back by
15th.
then maybe I'll make a trip out.
Sounds good, brother. Just let me know.
Good talking to you. We'll talk.
Likewise.